in a dry environment, there's other places that require a little bit of lubricant, but in a dry environment, it's not real critical. But in a wet environment where you get rain and stuff like that, there's places like the book, your instruction manual will tell you all about that, but you put a drop oil up here, you know, in the front sight post, and that's basically it. There's really not too many other places that you could lubricate. This little latch right there, put a little oil on that, but your book will tell you all about that. It's something that doesn't have to do very often, especially in a dry environment. It's just if they get wet. And I'll show you the chamber brush. And if you use the right lubricant, it's rare that you even have to use this. But here's a new cleaning kit. This here is called a chamber brush. That's what cleans the chamber and those locking lugs out. But it doesn't have to be used very often. And you got your cleaning kit, your toothbrush. Here's to clean those locking lugs on the bolt. And I'll tell you about ammo. You can buy, there's lots of different ammo on the market, so I got this marked here so you can look through it. And I've marked what's suitable to use in this. Basically, you can use any 223 or 556 NATO ammo in these rifles as long as it's a brass case or designed for brass cases. Here's what I use, but it comes 1,000 to a box. And anytime you buy bulk ammo, you got to go through them individually and check either one, because I'll usually get about 30 bad ones in a batch, because they package them in bulk and some of them get damaged. But here's another good choice. These are individually boxed, so you got 20 rounds per box. They won't get damaged in shipping or anything like that. But there's a lot of different kinds to use. Remington, Winchester. I circled all of them that are good to use in this rifle. And as far as bullet weights, I make two different weights, a 55 grain and a 62 grain. It's just personal preference. They'll shoot either one of them just fine. I use the heavier ones.
When they say grain, is it within 1% or is it dead on?
It's usually within a certain percentage. Now the grain is the bullet weight. That's not the powder. That's the weight of the bullet.
Yeah,
is what they
grain
go
is
by.
a weight.
Yeah, there's usually a little bit of difference.
Like pound or ounce.
Yeah, yeah. It's usually that's the weight of the bullet. So here's what you don't want to use: this Russian ammo. I mean, it's cheap. You can buy 1,000 rounds of it for $100. But there's two problems with it. One thing, Russia doesn't have a lot of brass. You know, they have to import brass. They don't have their own source of brass. So they use steel cases. Fine for a Kalashnikov because they're real loose. The chambers are real loose, so that's not a problem. But you use it in an AR15 where the chambers are tighter. They're designed for accuracy more than volume of fire, which a Kalashnikov is made more for a volume of fire than accuracy.
Reliability.
Yeah, reliability. And so these are steel case. Now to keep a steel case from rusting, they have to spray a polymer coating on them. If you get your gun real hot, it has to be real hot to do it, but that polymer will start to melt in your chamber if you leave around in your chamber while it's real hot. That'll cause you nothing but extraction problems. And another thing, a steel case doesn't expand. Most rifles, they're designed to expand to seal out all that trash that's coming in your chamber. And what a brass case does, in a split second from the time it's fired, it will expand and fill up the chamber and keep all that trash, the unburnt powder and the gases, from blowing back out. So if you use that cheap ammo, you'll end up having to do a lot of cleaning because it's in the hardest spot there is to clean. But if you use brass cases, you don't have either one of those problems because it seals the chamber so good that all of that unburnt propellant and stuff doesn't blow out this way, it goes out that way. Okay. So just stick with brass cased ammo is all you got to remember, and it'll shoot anything out there.
Okay.
Either 556 NATO or 223. It'll shoot either one equally well.
Okay, we're out of film.
So that's pretty much it.
And we just ran out of film.
All right, good deal.